traditions throughout the years since I was a little girl. I don't ever remember not processing tomatoes at this time of year. Is again processing tomatoes, and so we're going to package them up, jar them, and so that we'll have them for. They can last up to 2 years with no problem. We've never had any issue. It is a process. It's a bit of work, but we also have the equipment, state of the art, from my dad, and it makes it much easier. These have already been washed twice. I'll show you the boxes of tomatoes because we don't grow our own tomatoes. In Southern Ontario you can, but in Northern Ontario we just don't have the window. At least we don't here in Scriber. So you'll see we have the case lots of tomatoes. Today we're processing 4 of these. They're 25 pounds per, really in your local grocery, really economical this year, I thought, and they're beautiful. These are Roma tomatoes. Some people it's out, some Marsano tomatoes or Roma tomatoes. Really, those are the 2 you're gonna look. They're a plum tomato, you're gonna look for that because it does give you more pulp, more sauce. And there is a secret to getting rid of the seeds and the peels. So yes, we're gonna start washing these. The ones on the table have already been washed, and then we'll move on to step number 2. So they're beautiful this year. They're not really overly dirty, but we're gonna wash them. 2-step process, 3-step process into the same, check for any blemishes, and then into the second wash, it'll go. They are quite lovely. Beautiful, beautiful tomatoes. And you'll see those ones are blemished, and they're gonna be, I'll just cut them up for a little salad or something. Waste not, want not.
Helping. Yeah, helping.
What are you helping with?
Doing tomatoes. Doing tomatoes.
Awesome. What are you going to do with the tomatoes?
Cook them in a big pot.
I'm gonna go out to the garage and see if the big colander is boiling. Okay. Do you know what's interesting, eh? We're going outside in the garage to do our tomatoes. And like, there are $1 million houses in Toronto, and people are making tomatoes in their driveway. You never know where you're gonna see this reenacted. Well, you'll see it here in Scriber. Let's go. Step 2. They're washed, they're beautiful. You'll see they're in my bowls, and we have many bowls. I can probably fit 5 bowls. Those are 32 cuppers into one of these pots. Check this out. Water is boiling. It's beautiful. I'm going to make sure I don't burn myself. And I'm going to pour the tomatoes into this boiling water. And you'll see they're actually not cut. You don't have to cut them for this process. And everyone, I don't care who you are, you do your own thing. But this is the way I do it. They're starting to sweat. Not ready yet. You're gonna watch until it starts to boil, and the tomatoes will split open. I still use the old-fashioned bushel baskets. They're hard to get these days, and I have my towels that I pull out every year. Nice cotton towels instead of a cheesecloth. And that's gonna drain some of the excess water. It's a process. Okay, watch. See the way it's starting to split? That's what you want. Another little bit, and they're almost ready to pull. You don't want to overcook them because then you'll end up with way little tomatoes. It's a fine balance. That's beautiful. That's exactly what I want.
We are going to.
There's a little bucket underneath, and it's catching the extra juices so you don't make a mess in your garage.
We are going to make.
And as I keep pouring the tomatoes on top, it kind of bursts the other ones, and some of the juices will come out, but you still keep a lot of the juices so you have all your vitamins. Beautiful.
Are you using all of them?
I'm gonna get all of the ones that are cooked out of here, and then we're gonna put more.
More?
Yeah.
They cannot be more.
Anto, you wanna do some scooping? So it's generational. My mother was taught by her mother. She taught me. And there's my little girl. She's learning how to make it too. So you go to the local store and you think, what are those plants about? Basil. Basil, come I'll show you. Here's our greenhouse. Many of you have gone to the local store and you'll see plants similar to this, prettier than this probably, because these have kind of gone to seed. It's basil. Everly, do you like eating basil?
Yeah.
She loves just eating it. You make pesto, but it's really good in tomato sauce, and we're going to use that in our tomato puree. So here we have it, state of the art. This was part of my inheritance. My brothers each have their own, so I don't feel guilty about taking it. And it is the best machine for the process. So you know you've been around a long time when you've seen the progression of machines change. I started off, I remember my mother just peeling them, putting them in the jars. Then from there, we got a little gadget from Italy, and it would separate the skin and the seeds, but it was a little cumbersome because it was manual. Then I went to a smaller machine, God bless Tony Pasqualino, he gave it to me, and it was okay, but then when you get the big one from Dad, that's the difference. This is gonna be messy, and it's gonna be loud, but it's gonna be efficient. Okay, everybody ready for loud? Here we go. As you can see, this machine takes the pulp and it drains into the big pot, and it has the skin and the seeds is in a separate bowl. That's going to be used in a compost, and so nothing gets wasted. And we've got onions and garlic sauteing, and we're going to add this tomato to that and make a ready sauce. So all we have in this is the tomato puree, garlic and onions, very finely chopped, oil, and some peppers that were a little concerned they might be too spicy, but oh well, it is what it is now. So this is ready. It's got basil and garlic and onion and spices, a lot of spices. And it's ready to jar next. That's the last step before we seal them and then give it a, I guess you call it a cold bath in boiling water, which is ironic that you would say that. And that'll be done again in the garage so we can keep the steam in the house to a minimum. Nice, eh? So, you've seen we have our tomato puree. What's the next step for canning? Just straight up tomato. I'm gonna put, I always put a couple of chunks of pepper. I don't go a high heat pepper. This is like 2 steps hot, similar to banana pepper. Then, of course, wouldn't be Italian if we didn't put some basil. Smell is delightful. You throw that in. I've already salted the tomato. And so you've seen we processed through the machine 3, 4, almost 5 times. I always use this measuring cup because it's easier. I'm gonna just watch until it hits the line of the ladle. These wide ladles are fabulous. I have 4 of them. Okay, that's all I need in that one. It will be preserved for 2 years easily, and then you would make your own sauce. It's the same as buying crushed tomato in a can, but the flavor's totally different, so much better. So, we're back in the garage. Yes, we are. The final step. So let's just do a little recap. We had 4 cases of tomatoes, 25 pounds each. We were able to pull from that 8 jars of just tomato puree. And you see me put the basil and the peppers, and that's gonna be sealed. She can make her own sauce. You can make soups. You can use it for a variety of things, the same as you would use crushed tomatoes. There's a difference being that the taste is much more natural and flavorful. Then we went ahead, chopped a whack load of onions, garlic, and we did a ready sauce. But for all of them, so those, I think she has about 48 jars, maybe even 50 jars of the 500 ml. So definitely worth doing it, economically speaking. And again, there's no price you can put on the flavor of what you're going to get. The last step for both of those jars is a cold bath. And I don't know why we call it cold bath, but here's the colander that we use. So put the jars in there. I didn't mention that we do have a tripod that's run by propane. Very, like I think we have 3 of them, but very valuable when you're doing any kind of this extent of canning. Definitely something necessary. And the big pot. These, God bless his soul, both of these were a Christmas present for my dad. Yeah, I was excited. Anyway, so we'll let it boil for 15 minutes. You'll notice here, we put, because we lift out of the boiling water, the jars that have already been boiled are in here, and we wrap them. They're gonna stay there for the rest of the night. Beautiful, eh? Perfection. I'm gonna ask her to remember to label them with the date. And that way, because they can stay on the shelf, their shelf life's quite extensive. I don't know that they're going to last that long, because they do love to make gather and have pasta, and so the ready sauce especially, crack it open, pour it in a jar. You can but we poach our meatballs, so you could poach your meatballs. That might be another video where we show them how to make meatballs. But we put meat, and then boom, you have it. You can have it totally vegetarian. Just heat up the sauce and put it over your favorite noodles. Again, gnocchi, ravioli, all of the best things go with this beautiful sauce. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've done my best to give you as much explanation as I can, and it's been pretty chaotic between making suppers and grandkids, and it really, honestly, that's authentic. That's the way it should be. All the best.